Hello, welcome to another edition of DBE TV News. We come to you every week on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel and on DBE TV channel 122 on OpenView. Welcome, I am Tsegohajo Moagi. In our top stories, the Department of Basic Education, together with the World Bank, launched the Public Expenditure and Institutional Review Report. Minister Motshekga and DG Mweli give progress on infrastructure projects. A royal visit to one of the early childhood development centers in the country. And learners showcase their skills at the coding and robotics competition. Minister Angie Motshekga and Deputy Minister Dr. Regina Mhaule have launched the Public Expenditure and Institutional Review Report. This was done in conjunction with the World Bank. The purpose of the report is to inform planning and programming to help ensure all young children in the country receive a comprehensive package of integrated early childhood development center services to build the foundations to thrive later in life. Speaking at the event, Minister Motshekga emphasized the importance of investing in early childhood development centers to reduce poverty, improve academic performance, and decrease the probability of prematurely dropping out of school. She also shared the government's 5 priorities to improve and strengthen the delivery of the ECD function. The minister also stressed the need for more children to access early stimulation and learning opportunities and the importance of ECD practitioners having the necessary skills and knowledge to provide high-quality care and education for young children. The Department of Basic Education says although school infrastructure is on track, there are some challenges faced at some sites. Minister Angie Motshekga held a media briefing to give an update on the school infrastructure projects that the department has been busy with. This as Director General continues to crisscross the country to monitor the projects, hold implementing agents accountable, and ensure the work is being done properly and deadlines are being met. Now, during the briefing, the minister highlighted action that has been taken to amend school infrastructure challenges.
That we identify by provinces because infrastructure is a provincial competence. But national felt that it should intervene to assist our provinces. We reported to yourselves that to date we have replaced or we have provided 2,468 schools with infrastructure. I want to also, before I even say where we are now, what we're left with, from the 3,398, I also want to thank, because when the President launched the SAFE project, he also mobilized business to come to our rescue or to support government. We allocated 184 schools to them, and to date, 117 have been completed. I also want to say, to remind the nation that our city program, which was created to eradicate schools from inappropriate structures. We have identified 381 schools, 370 schools have been completed. We have installed water projects in 1,259 schools, and also, in addition to what we had identified from the 3,398, also provided 1,053 schools with sanitation.
Overcrowding has been a challenge for the department, especially in provinces such as Gauteng and the Western Cape. At the briefing, the minister explained how this affects the whole basic education system.
But what we also are dealing with, which we want to update the national court, is the disastrous situation about overcrowding. Because that's one other factor which we think is going to undermine our work as a department. Together with yourselves, we're all over experiencing provinces unable to place learners because there's not adequate spaces, experiencing classes which are overcrowded, and that we all know that it's one of the serious threats even to the work that we're doing. And again, we update the nations to what we're doing overcrowding. And we're grateful to Treasury that it has again allocated funding to national department, because infrastructure is not a national competence. My work is to put norms and standards, monitor and support. But because of the desperate situation we find ourselves, we've agreed as a government that national and also national agencies like the DBE should support provinces to confront the challenges that we face with infrastructure.
Meanwhile, the Director General, Matanzima Mweli, who was also at the briefing, outlined a report on the current school infrastructure projects.
Sanitation, of course, there are three categories that we are dealing with here. Number one, it's schools without we don't have such schools anymore. So we had to make sure that these schools do have at least mobile facilities whilst we are coming to provide a permanent solution. But we also have, Minister, schools that have inappropriate and unsafe structures. Section 27, indicated a figure of about 9,000, sorry, in the beginning. From our NIMS data of 2016, Mr. van der Westhuizen, we had about 8,000 of such schools, 8,000 in 2016. We had 8,000 of them, and we'll share with you data on how we've dealt with that. Electricity, we're providing supply of electricity. We connect to the nearest point where the rollout, the broad rollout has been done by ESCOM together with our Department of Energy. Then we connect to the closest point. We also have what we call Education Infrastructure Grant, EIG. This grant is made available to all 9 provinces to also deal with infrastructure rollout.
He added that the department is working with speed to ensure appropriate sanitation facilities are handed over to schools.
Eastern Cape, you can see KZN, you can see Limpopo are the 3 provinces that constitute the majority of pit latrines. You had them in the other 6 provinces. There were very few. That's why those provinces were essentially able to deal with them quickly. But in these 3 provinces, we're still there. It's not only, the minister indicated that in terms of Section 4 and Section 3 of the National Education Policy Act, our responsibility is to develop policy, monitor, and support. But we've gone beyond that. We're now delivering these projects, and we go down to ensure that we move with the requisite speed.
Queen Matilda of Belgium has reiterated the importance of investing in the first 1,000 days of a child's life. Her Majesty the Queen, together with Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga and Gauteng Education MEC Matume Chilwane, visited Emuseni Daycare Center in Soweto. This as the department continues to build and develop the ECD sector after it migrated from the Department of Social Development to the Basic Education Department.
It was a cold and cloudy day in Soweto as the minister and dignitaries welcomed Queen Matilda of Belgium to Emuseni Daycare Center. The center was established in 1989 when the principal and founder saw a need in her community. The school now has over 70 children that they take care of.
The vision of the center was and still is to provide happy environment which starts with the well-being and caring of children, stimulation and development, providing a safe, secure environment for the children, and also provide healthy meals to the kids from poor backgrounds. The project mission is that Emuseni Daycare Center, through its various programs, will endeavor to provide a suitable organizational structure that will facilitate the total realization of a child as a person ready to begin formal schooling. Our mission is also to create self-esteem for children from broken families and to articulate the philosophy that beauty is in the eye of the beholder through arts and music development. It is also important to teach the kids the importance of reading and using imagination. Our most important mission is to identify the poorest of the poor in the community and give them our happy educare experience.
She added that despite the challenges they face, they ensure the children's learning experience is up to standard. She says they also try to create employment for those who need it.
Our work is not without its challenges. To date, funding has been our biggest challenge, especially when our goals is to make sure that the young women that we have employed here are financially independent. We also need to play therapy for the kids from broken families. But our achievements far exceeds our challenges. The kids that come from Emuseni are able to make it to higher education without any difficulties. We are able to give the kids with disabilities the best in life to achieve their dreams and goals. One of our achievements is also strengthening our community by providing time work such as painting, plumbing, and basic electrical work. Our dream for the future is to have a computer lab where our kids can learn robotics and coding. Emerson Data Center believes that an ECD center should be the first place for every child to shine, reach for the stars, explore and discover things beyond their imagination.
Minister Angie Motshekga took to the podium and spoke about the importance of building a child's future from an early age and what she had learned about her time in Belgium.
When we visited, I was sharing with colleagues here, when we visited Brussels, we went to Finland, we went to Cuba, because we also wanted to compare ourselves with countries of the same economic status. One common thing is, in Finland, necessarily have a ministry, you run it concurrently with local government, and we gained a lot about it. If now that we are restructuring our ECD, what are the rightful tenets of what we need to do to get ECD to where it is? And we continue to be very grateful to people like herself, who, in the absence of a proper infrastructure, did not sit idle, fold their heads, and not take care of children. So the MEC is right. I had thought she'd tell you that she decided as a volunteer, seeing children running around in the streets, brought them into their house, into her two-roomed house, brought them into her house and built the center from her own initiative and her own resources.
She also spoke about the number of children who need to be accommodated in the ECD function.
We've just run an audit through DDG GEA, which tells us that as a country, we have 7.2 million children that are supposed to be in ECD. 7.2 million. Currently, we are catering only for 1.6 million children in such centers, which means almost 6 million children are still elsewhere because they don't have care. So our biggest task is to build, as I say, because it's big, is to have a hybrid model. When you transport in small vehicles, in trains and in buses. So we have to look at how we really build a new center. Because out of the 1.6 million, we have about 42,200 centers. So if we have to run with all this kind of vehicle, we won't be able to get to 7.2 million. Because it means we need more than 300,000 centers, and it's not viable. So we're working with ECD practitioners to look at what model can we do in partnership with existing, but also how to complement and supplement, and using the model, for instance, that we use in Finland, Belgium and Finland, where you have government taking full responsibility. We have municipalities, but there are also partnerships that are being started.
The Queen went on to read a book for and with the children.
Where is here says Mrs. Quigley Hans as she comes up behind Rapulani to add a finishing touch, a favorite ribbon. But Wapulani can take her eyes away from the mirror.
She also played Lego with them.
Okay, Mitchell, listen to me.
She even took the time to assist the children with puzzles that they were busy with. She urged teachers to always be patient when teaching their children new things. The visit ended by the school's choir rendering a hymn to the Queen, Minister, and delegation. Tshepisa Mogema reporting for DBE TV News in Soweto.
When we return, we hear more from the Botswana Education Delegation as they visit South Africa on a study tour.
Hey Matrix, don't give up. Watch Wars of Matrix every day on TV to help you revise and study with confidence. Check the schedule and plan your studying for the week. Read up on the topic before you watch. Come prepared. It's hard to focus if you watch like this, or this, or this. Switch off your phone and switch on your brain. Sit up, be alert, take notes, and really listen. When we watch actively, that's when we learn. You can do it.
A delegation from Botswana visited the Department of Basic Education in Pretoria on a study tour to see how South Africa manages various matters. This included teachers, workload, support, training and capacity building in a changing environment. The department explained some of the work done in order to ensure learning and teaching is at the best, but also spoke to the different levels of teachers and what their roles are.
In terms of the teachers, we have four post levels. We have post level 1, which is a classroom teacher. We have a post level 2, which is a head of curriculum, sort of, and then we have a deputy principal and a principal. And what I've noted from yourselves, as you will see, is that your school management team, which is in our case head of department and deputy principal and principal, in your case they don't teach. In our case, you'll notice they do teach a certain number of hours, of periods, or percentage of the overall workload at school.
Meanwhile, the Botswana delegation spoke to the work done in their education sector, specifically after the COVID-19 pandemic.
You'd note, as a country, prior to teaching to COVID-19, our teacher loads were based on a 40-minute period. So each and every teacher at secondary school was given a 40-minute lesson. And senior management, that is your deputy school head and your HOD, do not have any classes that they teach. So they are basically responsible for the administrative duties within a school setup, together with your head of departments. And your senior teacher ones would have a reduced workload because they've got other administrative duties that they do at school level. And prior to COVID-19, our class sizes were hovering around 45 students per class, which we believed was a bit too high. And we would note that as a government, we had already had a revised national policy on education, which was done in 1994, which clearly indicated that class sizes should be reduced to 30. So COVID-19 brought something good to us because we then implemented the revised national policy on education in 1994. We then, as my colleague has already alluded to, we then had our class sizes reduced to 30 per class, and then we also advised schools to shift and reduce the time allocation from 40 minutes to 30 minutes.
Coding and robotics creates an exciting and different pathway for learners in this ever-changing world. This is the word from the Department of Basic Education as the piloting of the draft coding and robotics curriculum continues across 1,569 schools. In a quest to expose learners to digital skills and competencies, the department has partnered with the State Information Technology Agency to enhance the program. Coding and robotics forms part of the 3 streams model, gradually being introduced into the school curriculum. With this model, The department believes it would provide differentiated offerings to learners and respond to the skills needed for the ever-changing world. CETA hosted a robotics challenge for high schools taking part in the piloting of coding and robotics. The department has congratulated learners for their work, thanked parents for supporting their children, but also teachers for ensuring the work is done to perfection.
Coding and robotics opens up a pathway of hundreds of more potential careers yet to be created. And you are the pioneers of it. You are where it started. So, we are proud to be honored to have you here on this wonderful day for coding and robotics. You are proud representatives of your families, your schools, your communities, your provinces, and ultimately, you are proud representatives of South Africans. We are all looking up to you with hopeful eyes because our future lies with you. You have endured all the stress of creating these beautiful, functioning robots, and you have researched endlessly to perfectly code them. You did your best and you get 100% for all your effort, and nobody can fault you on that. You're already winners. You made a robot and you gave it a brain, and thereby you gave it life. You have been winners long before you came to this event, and we are here because these winners, because of you, you are the winners. You have bound us to be here. We are here because of you. You made it possible. So we thank you for that. Teachers, thank you for being the pillars on which these giants or these learners, these engineers, you are there for them. And thank you for being surrogate parents every day in classroom for these champions. Thank you so much, teachers.
The State Information Technology Agency has encouraged learners to always be themselves and continue doing great work through coding and robotics.
Hey, learners, with what you're doing today, I envy you so much. I looked at many of you and say, there's Professor from KZN, there is a potential engineer from Mpumalanga. You know, I looked at all of you, I looked at your energy, I loved the authenticity that you presented. I mean, you spoke, you presented yourself, you were you. And I think that is good enough for anybody to enter into any sector. You don't have to be like me, you don't have to be like anybody else in the city or in the suburb or in the township or rural areas, just do you. Okay, as you know, the young people, we say, be yourself and do you, right?
The learners showcased what they did for the adjudicators during the competition, and the overall winners were Ozias Dabana Secondary School located in Limpopo. They've received a STEM lab that will be built at the school to the value of 1.1 million rand. Teachers also received vouchers that they can use. The Northern Cape Education Department is hosting autumn extra classes for the matric class of 2023. This, of course, in a bid to ensure the learners do well in their final exams and are ready to write later this year. Let's have a look at the work that's been done.
We know by now that the performance of the grade 12 of the Northern Cape for the past 6-7 years, it was not impressive, isn't it? We have not done well. Do you not want to make history? Do you want to make history? Yes. Then you can say, but when I was in grade 12 in 2023, the Northern Cape moved from number 8 to number 3 or to number 2. Will that not be a good story to tell? But only you can do it. I cannot do it. I can just support you. I can support the educators. I can make sure we've got all the things that we need at the schools. You will have food at the school, you will have uniform, the teachers will be there, you will be taught. You will even get tablets to make sure we assist you. We are going to have autumn classes, winter classes, spring classes. We can do everything that we want to do. If you don't come to the party, We are wasting our time, isn't it?
The aim is to acquire information that will help us boost our marks, because somewhere, somehow we are struggling with our studies. So here we are getting that knowledge, we are getting that support and that extra push. That's what they are helping us for.
Coming up next, we are in the Eastern Cape where the HOD hails work done by teachers and learners at Doli Senior Secondary School.
Hey learners in grade R11, feeling stuck or confused? Have you lost learning time in the last while? Well, Tswelopele is back to help you catch up. Find resources on the DBE cloud to use and share. Watch support lessons on TV or on our YouTube channel, where you will find exciting lessons in key grade R to 9 subjects. And for grade 10 to 11, have fun learning in many different subjects. Join our community of learners and teachers, parents and caregivers on Facebook, where there are tips and advice for better learning. Need help? Contact us via our WhatsApp line and get support on all your subject problems. Stay connected. You can count on us. Check out our website to find out more at www.tswelopele.org.za. Tswelopele.
A delegation from the Second Chance Directorate within the Department of Basic Education is in the Free State Province to give details about the program. The Second Chance exams begin on the 3rd of May. The program was launched in 2016 and supports anyone of any age who wants to achieve or improve a matric qualification subject by subject and on a part-time basis. There are no costs involved. One of the ways this program supports part-time matric candidates is through face-to-face classes facilitated by qualified teachers at selected schools and community centers. The director of the program addressed those who were in attendance at the Motheo district.
We want to give an opportunity to rewrite, and you can do 2 subjects or 1 subject until we pass. So over registration is closed. Over registering, they are going to write now in May, June. When the results. If you've got an NSC, National Senior Certificate, you can register. I don't know the closing date. I'm not Free State again, and write in December. So how to put like any programs. Then another about IEC, Baba vote. I got like to complain like I made see the pothole ruling. Marali vote. So Baba sa register how register no sharp. Baba sa register only above 18 for opportunity. Zama no I'll part the same. Naka register guy about register. Had elections like May 2024, you can register.
Doli Senior Secondary School in the Eastern Cape has been held for the excellent matric pass rate for the 2022 class. The school, situated in Lusikisiki, received a 95.6% pass mark. They had 443 learners who wrote their exams, 424 passed with 349 distinctions. Provincial Head of the Department, Mahlubandile Kwase, gave a brief history of the school, adding that it has been performing above 90% for the past 15 years.
This school in Doli Senior Secondary has been like this for the past 15 years. Now, they don't have fancy infrastructure. They are on the other side of Mzimbu, in a deep rural area. In 2022, they had 444 learners in grade 12. Out of that 444, 424 passed. So there is more than 95% percentage pass of the school. So I said, that's what we said today as I Lastly, they sponsored a kid who is number 3 in the country in Quintam 2. That young man is also about it is number 3.
That's how we end this bulletin this week on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel and on DBE TV channel 122 on OpenView. Do remember to send through your stories or comments by contacting us on our Twitter handle @DBE TV News. Thank you for watching.